I remember back in the 90s, variant comic covers were all the rage. Well, they kind of went away for a little bit, but they are back and bigger than ever. So, what's changed about variant covers now that they've returned, and how do I feel about it? Let me tell you. Greetings everyone, welcome to the underground lair where we bring our creations to life. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. I'm a professional illustrator, designer, and mad creator. I also create comics, and I am excited to announce that the Kickstarter for my comic book, Young and the Dead, is now live on Kickstarter. You can check it out by going to youngandthedead.com, or there's a link in the description of this video if you want to check out and see what that's all about. This is the standard cover for my comic book, Young and the Dead. This is issue 5. All of the issues are available if you don't have them, so you can kind of pick and choose which one you have. There's tons of tiers on there and everything. You can check those out. But this time around, I decided, you know what? In addition to just these standard covers, I want to do some variant covers. At first, I was a little hesitant because my perception of variant covers from back in the 90s. Variant covers, to me, looking back, they were really gimmicky. It was almost like, what can we do to this cover to drum up excitement? But as somebody with an interest in marketing, I can kind of see through it and I can see the gimmicks for what they are and everything. But there was stuff like glow-in-the-dark covers. That was kind of cool, I guess. You know, you got your chromium covers and your foil stamp covers. Everything's, you know, poly-bagged and everything with trading cards and all this kind of stuff in it. And then they would get crazy. Like there were some that had like a bullet hole through the whole comic, or, you know, there would be a little jewel or something glued to the cover of the comic. So, I mean, they went crazy, like anything they could think of. And it was just kind of got out of hand. And I think because of that, after, you know, that whole boom happened, and then, you know, there was sort of the crash with comics and everything after the 90s, you know, variant covers kind of went away, but they're back. But I think they've returned it a little bit better than before. To me, now they're less about the gimmicks. I'm sure there's some gimmick covers out there now, but I think more nowadays it's about the art. What basically is happening is there's a lot of these variant covers for different issues being done by different artists, and to me, that's a good thing because that opens up more opportunities for artists. There are a lot of comic book artists who dream of doing comics, but not necessarily the sequential stuff, because that's the hard stuff. They'd rather just be a cover artist. And that's really, in the past, that was really unattainable for a lot of, I mean, you had to be super high demand. You had to, you know, to be a cover artist, I mean, your work had to be so stellar. But now, you know, there's more openings for all these different variant covers, and I know artists who have made a living just doing variant covers. I mean, tons of them, and there's a lot of opportunities out there. Now, from a collector's perspective, you know, I mean, you can look at it how you want. I mean, it is kind of, there's a lot of stuff out there. It seems like it's kind of, the market's sort of flooded with variant covers. But the thing about collecting that wasn't really true in the 90s was all these variant covers in the 90s, they weren't really scarce. There were tons of them, you know, so you can go on eBay and you can find all these variant covers for like pennies on the dollar because they just produce so many of them. Whereas now, variant covers most of the time are in shorter quantities, so it creates that scarcity, which creates collectability. To me, it's a little more honest because, you know, if they only produce, say, 1,000 of this cover, then that's all there is, so that in and of itself makes it a little more rare. I'm not somebody who chases after all these variant covers. I'm not like a hardcore collector. I look at the covers that are available and I pick the one I like, and I'm not buying multiple covers or anything like that. But that's me. Different people are into different things. Different people collect different things. I know people who collect variant covers of just certain homages, like homages to like Spider-Man number, what was it, 300? I don't remember, but there's some famous, or the Fantastic Four cover, you know, the original. There's been a lot of homages done to that. There are people who collect just specific homages or whatever. So, I mean, and that's cool. Whatever you're into, there is something out there for you. But like I said, these variant covers right now are creating opportunities for artists to do cover work. I've done a few myself. I did this one for Betty and Veronica Summer Special for Archie Comics. And then this one for Ice Cream Man. This is an Image comic. So that was fun to get a chance to work on some of these bigger titles, because I'm more of an indie guy, but you know, it's fun to dip my toes into that stuff, and I'm not worried about creating a whole comic book because I don't I'm not really into creating full comic book, like a 24-page story for something that I don't own, but that's kind of fun to do, and it paid pretty well and everything like that. So I like the fact that there's these opportunities more and more opportunities out there for people to do cover art and variant covers and things like that. And in doing these variant covers, and these were both store exclusives to my local comic book store. They work out a deal with the publisher. They find an artist, myself in this case, and they do these variant covers. The other thing is it gives an opportunity for the artist to go and do signings, so I can go and sign and do sketches and stuff. So it makes a lot of sense. And in doing these signings, I've talked with a lot of collectors, and they see my comic and they're like, oh, do you have any variant covers of your comic? And up until that point, I was like, no, I haven't really. But then in prepping for this Kickstarter, I started thinking about it. I see a lot of people, it's big on Kickstarters. People are looking for those variant covers, the ones that are a little more exclusive, a little more rare. And I thought, you know what? I should reach out to some of my friends and some of my fellow artists and hire them to do variant covers for my comic book Young and the Dead. Now, to me, sometimes it can get a little crazy, like when you've got one issue that has like 8 different variant covers or 20 different variant covers. So, I mean, and if you're a collector and that's kind of what you're into, if you want to buy every single one or whatever, that's fine. I didn't want to go crazy like that, but I do have 5 issues of Young and the Dead, and although I didn't want to have like 5 variant covers for each particular issue, I thought maybe I'd just do one variant cover per issue. So I reached out to some friends and I said, here, I want you to do a variant cover for either issue 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and got them on board. And man, it was a cool process because it's the first time I ever really got to see other people's interpretation of my characters. So I want to share some of those variant covers with you. Now, the first one you may have seen, it's actually the poster, the print, and I'm going to show you some kind of enlarged prints of what these variant covers look like. But the first one, you may have seen a very close version of it. I altered it a little bit, but this is the variant cover for issue number 1, and this is by my good friend Joshua Kimball. Now, he did this early on, so I kind of already had this one. He actually did this for me as a birthday present a couple years ago, and I thought, you know what? This is perfect the way it is. I want this to be a variant cover for issue number 1. So I love this. It's definitely a throwback to the old EC Comics, Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, all that kind of stuff, Weird Science, all that kind of stuff. Definitely in that vein. And the thing that I wanted to do with my variant covers is I didn't, all my issues, they kind of got the same, trade dress, same logo. They kind of follow the same exact format and everything. I wanted the artist to have free range to kind of do whatever they want and give a different look for each particular comic cover. So I didn't want the same logo run throughout. So each one has different trade dress, different logo, all that, different layout. So as you can see, if you haven't already seen this one, this is the number 1 cover, Young and the Dead number 1 variant cover by Joshua Kimball. And my other co-host for the Artcasters, Corey Kerr, did this one, and I did some of the graphic design on here. Like I said, I wanted something different, so he provided the artwork and I did some graphic design elements on this. But look at that. This is sort of a throwback to the Bronze Age Marvel comics and everything. You've got sort of your little corner box, or in this case, like a corner circle. But I just think this looks really cool. So that is issue 2 by Corey Kerr. And another friend of mine, frequent guest on the Artcasters, Gary Hodges, did this one. This is a little more modern take, but I love the design of this one. And it definitely fits with what Gary does. He does a lot of really technical stuff, so the car in there, I kind of gave him some direction. I want the car and I want these 2 particular characters. Other than that, do whatever you want. And he really knocked it out of the park, no pun intended, with the baseball bat or anything like that. But yeah, I love this one. This is the variant cover for issue number 3, and this is an artist that I work with on a project, and I mean, I just love her artwork. This is Federica Marchetti, and she did this one. This is for issue 4, which a lot of it takes place in an arcade, and I said I just want some awesome throwdown between the kids and the zombies in an arcade. And I guess I forgot to mention, if you're not familiar with Young and the Dead, it is a kids versus zombie adventure story, kind of like Goonies meets Night of the Living Dead. So if you're into all those old 80s action movie starring kids, Goonies, Monster Squad, E.T., Explorer, Stand By Me, or more recently Stranger Things, then that's what it's all about. So this does take place in the 80s. Everyone remembers the zombie apocalypse of the 80s, right? So anyway, I just wanted something that took place in an arcade, and then she just really did a bang-up job on this. I mean, it's just incredible. I love this one. Last but not least, this is from another friend of mine, the comic book black belt himself, Russ Leach. This is his version of the cover for the current issue, number 5, and he does sort of a Bronze Age style of illustration, kind of Marvel and everything, and this just looks great. And a lot of what happens in the current issue centers around the kids en route to a secret lab in an old ice cream truck, and of course there's zombies and everything. And I mean, even though this particular scene doesn't happen exactly like this, I just wanted something, something with that feel of what's going on. So those are the current variant covers that you can get as part of the Kickstarter. There's also other rewards. Right now there is an early bird reward that has these remarks that are done by myself, signed and remarked, and I'm doing these little zombie popsicles because of the whole ice cream theme. So there's some of these available. These could be going fast, so you might want to check those out. This is probably one of the best deals as far as if you want original art. The tier for this isn't as much as some of the other original art tiers, so you might want to jump on this before it's gone. But I have a lot of fun doing these little remarks. I do a lot of these at store signings and things like that. And then, of course, the sketch covers. There are blank sketch covers that you can get either as add-ons or as part of certain tiers without anything on, that you can do your own design. But then there's also tiers where I do a sketch and then you can own one of these original art sketches as part of the Kickstarter. Like I said, there are tons of different tiers and things that you can back. I just wanted to make this like my best Kickstarter yet, so there are all kinds of really cool extras and everything. Also, there's free shipping for anyone in the US, and if you're an international backer, there are extras that are included into international orders, because I know that shipping cost can be really high, so I want to throw some extra stuff in there to offset some of that cost. So even though you might be spending a little extra for shipping, you're getting that much value in return. And some of those extras that are available for international backers, if you are in the US, you can actually purchase, there's a tier where you can purchase those too. But the international backers, they get those thrown in there for free. And that's the best I could do to kind of offset that shipping cost. But anyway, so I'm really excited to announce this Kickstarter. It is live, like I said. It's youngandthedead.com. If you type that into your browser, it will take you right to the Kickstarter, or if you don't want to type in anything, just click on the link in the description of this video. It will also take you to Kickstarter. Definitely check that out. If you've ever got any value from the videos that I do here on YouTube and you want to give back and get something in return, then consider backing this project. I am just super excited to finally get this out there to you guys. And again, thank you for all the support in the past. And it's just fun doing these videos and everything. And then every once in a while, being able to put something out there for you guys that you guys can enjoy, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And this is my big thing. I love comics, and this is my comic. I don't do a lot of these Kickstarters, so they only come around every once in a while. So if you're interested and you have the wherewithal, then definitely, back this project. And, if you're just not in a position to back it, please share it, tell people about it that may be interested in it. I really would appreciate that. But again, thanks for all the love you guys are giving on YouTube and watching these videos and everything. And that's all I got to say. I'll be doing more content. I'll be doing some live streams showing me, doing some of these sketch covers. I probably will do one, if you're watching this as it's posted, I'll probably do one tonight. Sort of as a Kickstarter kickoff party, do some of these sketches and everything, or maybe I'll do some of these remarks. I don't know. We'll see. I'll be putting out a lot of content, kind of promoting this and everything. So just stay tuned, and thanks again. I will see you guys later. That is all. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me at Serkworks on social media, and now you can support the work that I do on Patreon. Do you like making comics? Then go to Serkworks.com and pick up the Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's packed full of fonts, brushes, templates, and more. And best of all, it's totally free.